Manchester, UK. Brief videos of time. Stephen Goddard. So we're just explaining about Robert Peel. I initially thought he didn't really have much to do with the police force. Turns out he did. Not only that, he reformed the entire law as we know it. He had, I think it was called Peel's Principles. There were 9 or maybe 11. Only, I do know, it's just that sometimes these things escape me and it isn't essential. But there was Peel's laws, and these are to do with actual like policing laws, nothing to do with the corn laws, which he also established. So things are a bit chaotic in the early 1800s. We still got a system where priests are taking care of the law. You know, soldiers are deployed in riot situations, and there was actually something called the Riot Act. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Riot Act. I think I've heard of it, but I didn't really know what it was. Right, so up until 1838, Britain has what's called the Riot Act. The local priest or town official, it was actually a witchfinder general, but they keep that quiet now. That was their official title in some cases. So the person in charge of the law can contact the armies. Don't know how that works, but we've always been ruled in some way or another, whether it's by a royal family or whether it's by politicians, you know, a prime minister. We've always had a system. It's actually quite a area of turmoil in the government. I don't know if you're aware, at the time there was a prince, the Prince Regent, who actually was the son of the King George, who was unwell, shall we say. I think it's George, I don't think it's Henry. So you just get your facts on Google. If I am wrong, I do apologise, but I don't think I am wrong. So he's the son of George, but he's a regent one. Anyway, he's had a fancy life, he's having fun with his money. Now we've got the railway, so it loops through here from Tottington. This is your station, loops through Bury Bolton Street Station, and then 3 tracks leave. As I've said, one goes to Rochdale, one goes to Radcliffe, the other one goes to Salford. And there's a man down there doing his work, but it's that little train I love, that little fascinating train there, and I'm sure that's electric. Part of the old electric service, that. A shunter that's electric powered. It's a guess, but it's got a chain underneath. They have those in Wales so they can get up the mountains. So as you can see, it's quite a busy little train depot. Spaniel. He was more regal than me, he was posher than me, that dog. Anyway, that's actually true. He had more pedigree than I have. So just finish off about Robert Peel before I lose the track. So you got your local officials, and we're on the Riot Act. Now if 7 or 8 people, or more than that, start fighting, say outside a pub, or arguing with somebody over paying a bill, the local official would come out and read out loud, like a town crier, the Riot Act. There's a piece of paper, and on it you were declared to cease causing havoc, basically, or the townsfolk would step in and intervene. So basically, if 12 lads are all hanging around in your village, the whole village could go and confront them. Now in a way I think that's good, but obviously it's not policed. I bet a lot of people ended up getting, you know what I mean, seriously beaten as well, you know what I mean. So that was the Riot Act. So the priest or whoever would come out and say, you must cease your actions or I will call and use my powers and my right to act on the Riot Act. So there you go. So obviously Robert Peel thought that's a bit barbaric. As we become more civilised in a civilised world, and he came up with 9 principles of law. He tried to make hanging and capital punishment, which is where you lose your life obviously, you know, one of the hardest things to actually get. It was only expressed for murder and I think treason on the high seas, which is still a crime to this day, treason on the high seas, which is what's going on in Iran today. So that's relevant. yet again we have a confrontation with Iran. Hopefully it doesn't turn into anything violent, because I think we're all a bit fed up of falling out with the Middle East and then falling out with us, and we're right, they're wrong, we're right, yeah, right. You know what I mean? That I wish we could just discuss it like we used to politically. Anyway, so Iran in the Middle East, you know, there's trouble over there. So we're up to where the Riot Act is, and this is the Unitarian Church, which used to be an old-fashioned building. Where I'm walking today, these are the only remains of old Bury, which was knocked down to make way for the new dual carriageways and the redevelopment. And that Unitarian Church, sorry, I think it's almost like atheism. I'm not sure how it works. I know that sounds silly, but I don't think they praise a god as such. It's something to do with, it might be, I think they baptise each other still. So it's quite a modern thing. I don't know, because the church was old. Whether they adopted the church, I don't know. Don't know anything about that, so it's another search for you if you want to know. There we go, a very prominent little building. It's triangle sticking up there. So I'm just going to start filming while I recap where we're up to. We've just been read the Riot Act.